Hi, I'm Gretchen,
And I'm Becca.
and we're two curious ladies on an adventure to learn more about cooking, cannabis.
And the fine art of gluttony. Join us every 10 days or so as we get high and make our way through a recipe.
Step inside and let the consumption begin.
Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome to our 100th episode! Oh my God!
Can you believe this?
No.
I know. It's mind-boggling.
I also goes, oh, that's why I haven't had a life in 3 years.
Well, that explains the exhaustion. Yes.
We've been at a furious pace since 2020 to make this the best thing ever.
That 2020 feels like 100 years ago, literally. So that also makes sense that it is our 100th episode. If you're a little confused by how our numbering changed, let's clarify that real quick for 1 second. When we started the podcast way back 100 episodes ago, we had the idea to do our Canna quests as something a little separate, our chef's quests as something a little bit separate, and our pantry power-ups as even another something a little separate. And what we've realized is that's not happening. And we've just
we are now focusing on the episodes. I mean, we do call some of them pantry power-ups because they are just sort of the shorter, like this is something that goes with something else kind of episodes. But they're all just going to be episodes now. So that's where we are.
We'll still continue chatting about cannabis and how it's helping us or affecting us as we cook, because it is our favorite part of relaxing often as we do cook. That's not going anywhere, of course, but that's why we renumbered everything. We just decided to stop with those secondary tracks of numbering that we had been doing. So we renumbered everything start to finish, and lo and fucking behold, we are at 100. So we are celebrating with making our own kind of homemade sundaes-ish. We are making the hot fudge, and we are making buttered pecans. Otherwise, we did buy our ice cream, and everything else is going to happen sort of without our effort. Sundaes, celebration Sundaes.
Celebration Sundaes. Although we were just discussing that we completely forgot about one of the key parts of a sundae, which is the whipped cream, and neither of us have it. So,
oops.
Oh well.
Modified sundaes. Here we are. What are you smoking while we celebrate?
Well, I had to buy these Pure Mish Baby Jeter joints because they are pure Michigan. They released this as a celebration of the fact that they are expanding their brand into Michigan. Congrats, people in Michigan that I know. You can now get Baby Jeters.
Yay!
Huzzah!
Yay! Welcome.
And so their description on their website goes as followed, because they don't really have any terpene information or anything else. So we're just going to read their description because I love that part of it. Pure Mish is a tasty indica strain created by crossing Oreos, which we know how Oreos makes me goofy, and Mendo Breath F2, which I've never heard of before, but sure. This strain has a sweet and nutty chocolate flavor with a light, creamy vanilla exhale. Oh, its aroma is similar, with a delicious mocha coffee overtone, accented by earth and spicy nuttiness. Pure Mish will leave you feeling calm and happy for hours, making conversations with anyone around you an easy task. Well, I guess that explains why I was so jazzed up on the Oreos, and I was so funny. So hopefully... same results this time.
Yeah, so far so good. So thank you for Pure Mish.
What are you enjoying over there today, Becca?
I have some of the Macmo again from the Real McCoy. I've been really enjoying this flower. I've been savoring it and making it linger a long time, as long as possible. But it does have caryophyllene, limonene, humulene, and myrcene. And then it's got 25.9% THC, and just 0.05% CBD, but I am still munching on my Tropicana chills from Busy CBD, definitely balancing out any of that THC spike. So here we are, very excited to enjoy my Macmo while we celebrate. What are we drinking?
Bourbon! We decided that was the most likely thing to pair with a sundae, I guess. And we both just like bourbon. And it
And it's
could
a
be,
go-to.
it's a go-to. And also could be an additive to your chocolate sauce if you were getting adventurous with your fudge or chocolate sauce. It just sort of made sense at least.
Yeah, we decided it made total sense. I was also thinking amaretto might work too.
Darn, we could have done amaretto something. Oh well, next time.
Oh well, next time we'll make it again for sure. We didn't have anything in particular we wanted to educate, share, learn together about this time. So we thought we would just kind of do a little bit of a reflection on the last 100 episodes. I will kick it off with my most frustrating dish,
Great.
which I think was the cauliflower korma.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I forgot we did that.
it was a while ago now. I remember distinctly reaching a point where I said I would not keep doing this if I were not with you right now. Like I would definitely have stopped. And I don't think there's anything else we've made. Maybe Caramel's gotten close, but there's nothing else where I've been like, I'm out. I don't care what stage it's at. I don't care if I'm 75% done. I'm done. I'm done.
I think my most frustrating, or at least the one I was most frustrated by it being such a failure, was the pistachio rolls. The most frustrating was obviously making the pistachio paste, which,
Oh my God.
and because I
Yeah.
had gotten the pistachio pieces versus like the whole nuts and was like, fuck this.
And mine were shelled.
That's right, I forgot.
Nightmare. Nightmare.
Absolute nightmare. Oh, for sure. Could not have been more of a nightmare from beginning to end, the pistachio paste and the rolls. Like the rolls were just, I was like so bummed because I just love pistachio so much. And it was just like, wow, this turned into a hot pile of garbage.
I know. They were so dense. You couldn't taste the pistachio. After all of that effort, you couldn't taste the pistachio. And it was boring, gross, dumb. It was so that was yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that one. I kind of blocked it out.
Right?
What was the one you had the most fun learning about?
Oh, we've learned so many cool things and just
Mm-hmm.
random information as well. Maybe hot sauce for like
Oh,
something that I felt like I had a grasp on. And then I started doing research and was like, I fucking know nothing about hot sauce. I am woefully undereducated in the hot sauce department. I think that was probably one of the more surprising ones as far as things that I learned.
mm-hmm.
But also maybe doing the injera.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting.
That was really interesting. And there was just so much, like, just not knowing anything about TEF or the whole process.
Mm-hmm. I love ramen, and maybe
Yeah.
yeah, ramen was so fun, and maybe that's because we both watched that documentary and spent a lot of time kind of trying to understand the ethos,
Sure.
if you will,
Yeah.
yeah, around ramen. Didn't want to offend any ramen heads out there, but that one was really fun for me to get into. I think it was one of our longest episodes too, our longest releases.
Well, aside from and Crute, which we ended up having
Oh,
to break into
Spruce.
two because it was so long. It's just like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna listen to a like 3.5 hour podcast. Like,
Yeah, if we cannot get through it ourselves, we will definitely not put that out there.
that was definitely, you're right. That one also was extremely educational. Like it just proves that there's so much more to any dish than you could, well, I guess not every single dish, because some of them are very just like, well, I don't fucking know where it came from. But
Yeah.
but you can just gain such a deep appreciation for something by just reading a little bit. And like, I mean, we kind of got into it for a whole week, and then it was like, okay, next. We were
Gone
so
forever.
in. Yeah, gone
Yeah.
forever. Never returned to the ramen thing.
Mm-mm.
We will at some point have to make ramen noodles, though. I think that's gonna have to happen. But
That would be great. I loved that ramen one too. And also just generally thinking about the episodes we've mentioned and just all of the topics we've covered. And we'd done that kind of like traveling quote series where we were visiting different countries and pulling out a signature dish. And it makes me think about Marcella saying cooking is like languages. And
yeah,
you combine different languages, dialects, accents, if you will, into all these different geographies and scenarios. And it's so fun to even now kind of step back and think about the way things have woven together and the pieces, the slow pieces that we put together just with you saying injera. And it makes me think about Monty and empanadas, and there was something else we did that it was like an original kind of like meat pocket carrier for nomads and travelers. And it's just really cool to continue to talk about the evolution of food and the way we prepare it and look at it.
all right. So the weed just really hit me. So I don't remember what you just said,
I was basically
but
saying
it was
it's fun to
amazing.
step back.
Yeah, it was great. I know it was great. Can I remember what exactly you said now? No. But I agreed with all of it at the time. I remember that impression. Just don't ask me exactly what you said.
No big deal.
But also like the caldo verde kind of blocked that one from my mind, where I was like,
Yeah.
we loved that so much. Like it was so good. We learned way more than I thought we were going to about a soup, just this one soup. And
Mm-hmm.
so just really fascinating. I love doing this so much.
I know, I do too. When you said caldo verde, that made me think of the patatas bravas that we made.
Oh,
That
that
made me think
too.
of the sangria, and then that made me think of the limoncello and the ginger beer. And we have done so much.
Oh, I forgot about limoncello too. I remember the ginger beer because I kept doing it for quite a while
Yeah.
afterwards. And then eventually I did just like, oh, I can't keep this. So we might be busting out the fermenting again in the near future. So you all can look forward to that because
Very exciting.
it's going to be something really interesting and we're going to have to do a lot of prep for it, but we're determined to do it because it was such a good idea. And we were going to
Mm-hmm.
do it for this episode, but we couldn't make it happen in time.
No. As usual, we cannot get our shit together until the last minute, but here we are. This is better for this today celebration, hot fudge sundaes. What could be better?
I don't know. Least favorite ever was the caramel apple.
In terms of the result or the recording?
The result. The whole process was just like fiddly and fucking annoying. And I miss the caramel wraps from my childhood that we used to be able to buy at the store in Michigan. I miss those days.
Real Michigan nostalgia today.
I don't know when I'll be there again, but
It's home.
it's home. Yes. So apples, the caramel apples. Never, ever, 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 ever again.
That was your least favorite outcome.
Yes.
Worse than pistachio rolls?
I guess it's my least favorite because I didn't enjoy the process of making it and the result was not great.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at least with the pistachio rolls, I really enjoyed the process. It's just that the end result was very disappointing. So
Yeah.
I think caramel apple is the bottom of the list for that reason. And then pistachio rolls is a close second to last place.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember, other than cauliflower korma, which tasted delicious. So that was just a user error sort of situation. Shelling the pistachios was bullshit. There was something else. Oh, when we made the first upside down cake, Was that one pineapple?
I believe the very first one we did was pineapple.
I flipped that over, like a third of the whole thing stayed in the pan, and so it just was a horrible mess, but it was really tasty too.
Well, so at least the flavor was good, just the cake ended up not working as it was
Hmm.
supposed to. Yes. So we did pineapple upside down was episode 19. Then we did on episode 38, good according to our new numbering system, was the cranberry upside down cake. Was the last one we did just the rhubarb upside down cake?
Think so.
Yeah, and that was episode 64.
We're due for an upside down cake.
We are. Yeah, that feels like that's in our near future.
We have done so much. Even as we sit here, so many are just popping through my head, like Marcella's cantaloupe sauce, all of the Marcella dishes,
Yeah.
all of the France dishes, all of the Fanny Farmer, Ruth, Graves Wakefield.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Or Toll House cookies. Oh, I'm tired thinking about all of the things
Everything we've done. We've done so much stuff. It is exhausting.
Clearly, we love it. I'm feeling jazzed. I can tell you are too, just even talking about what we've done.
I think this is great though, because sometimes I'm like, as my brother calls it, feel like a bit like we're shouting into the void. And,
Yeah.
like, we do
Uh-huh.
see a lot of support from we've got a lot of listeners and new listeners all over the world, which is, we've been doing great recently. So it has felt a little bit less like we're shouting into the void. But, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care that we've just been shouting into the void.
We're just gonna keep doing it.
We're gonna keep doing it. You have no choice in the matter. But yeah, I'm like, that was great, and that was great, and just it's so fun. I just love it.
I do too. I'm so happy to be on this journey with you. We are slowly working our way to the High Gluttony homestead, day by day, sort of, episode by episode, sort of. But here we are at 100, celebrating with hot fudge sundaes. Was there any other episodes you wanted to talk about, or should we get moving?
I was going to bring up the broccoli tart as our most recent, most disappointing result, which was extremely disappointing because we were so excited about it and thought we had like a real winner on our hands. Or Franken tart,
Franken tart, Tartenstein. It was just so sad to smother our beautiful little broccoli trees under that big slab of pecorino or whatever it was. It was just like a travesty to the broccoli.
Yeah, I mean the whole end result was just not where I wanted it to be. So that's our only but I feel like we've really been on a real good streak lately with the tortelloni.
Panzanella was awesome.
Yeah, super fun, nice and easy.
Eaten mess before that.
So fun.
So fun, so good. Yeah, we've been making some tasty things. This has been so fun. As always, obviously. We are fun.
We are fun.
But I'm glad you brought up the broccoli tart as a more recent poo-poo, because this one I think should be pretty foolproof, fail-proof.
At least entertaining and kind of a fun one. Like I am really looking forward to this because I don't know that I've ever made a fudge sauce before. At least not well, and I've definitely not made one like this. This is a really interesting recipe to me. I am highly intrigued by it because not only are there the ingredients unexpected, but then you also have an unexpected step at the end that I'm not sure I'm on board for, but we'll see how it goes.
This is going to be fun. And as we do have this recipe for hot fudge, and we do have a separate recipe for buttered pecans, but the hot fudge recipe comes from the Stay at Home Chef, and we are using 1/2 cup of salted butter, 1/3 cup unsweetened cocoa powder, 2/3 cup milk chocolate chips, 2 cups granulated sugar, and Gretchen did toasted sugar or granulated caramel, granumel, of course.
Granumel.
And then we need 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, Gretchen, we didn't want to do traditional boring peanuts, so we, of course, are doing a high gluttony version of nuts on our sundae. So talk to me about these butter pecans that we're going to do.
There were other options that we were discussing, but decided that we really just wanted to make this one easy. So these butter pecans sounded exceptionally delicious and easy. So we're going to need 1.5 teaspoon. We will need 1.5 teaspoons of butter, salted or unsalted, dealer's choice, 1.5 cups of pecans, and 1/4 teaspoon coarse salt. So you can use flaky or just like kosher, I think. But just if you're using kosher, beware. Maybe go a little bit lighter than 1/4 teaspoon because it is saltier than other salt.
Was that 1.5 tablespoons butter or teaspoons butter?
Tablespoons.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And it says salted or unsalted. Which are you doing?
I got salted.
Same.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going away from the concept of unsalted butter being the king of like butter. I understand the purpose of it, but I don't know. Maybe because I taste my food as I'm making it too. I don't usually oversalt things. I have been on a salty streak recently where I've oversalted some stuff where I was like, oh no.
Uh-oh.
But I just barely, just a shade under like too salty, like just still edible. But if I'd done any more salt, it would have been a disaster. So I maybe shouldn't be playing with fire like this, but damn it, I want to be burned.
But yeah, salt it up.
Burn me with salt.
Yeah.
Salt fire. Oh God.
So what are we going to do with those salt-fired nuts?
So did we go through the steps of the fudge yet, actually?
No, but I thought we were going to do the nuts first.
We are going to do, you're right. We're going to do the nuts first. Or well, at least get the nuts going because they have 10 to 12 minutes to cook. So we can always like get them going and then start with fudge sauce. So yes, you're correct.
Okay.
Let's do that. You're right.
Okay.
So we have already preheated our oven to 350 degrees because you're going to need to do that because these are going in for a toast. Then you want to melt the butter in a skillet. You will take that off the heat after it's melted. You're going to stir the pecans or toss them if you're skilled at tossing things in a pan. If you are not skilled at tossing, I don't recommend tossing. A stir will do you just fine. Just be pretty thorough about it. And be gentle just because you're trying to keep, I think you're trying to keep the nuts whole. So you want to be quite gentle.
I have pieces.
Oh, I don't remember what it said. It just says pecans. Okay, yeah. We'll find out. I don't know.
We'll find out. Okay.
Because they like tossing to me indicates that they want a more gentle. So like you're trying not to break them up too much. But since it's not specific on whole or chopped or whatever, we'll see what our results are like and how we both feel about them.
Okay, melt the butter, move the skillet off the heat, toss the pecans into that melted butter, then
add salt.
Okay.
Yep. And stir again. Obviously, don't just throw the salt on and not stir it. That would be terrible. Spread that mixture evenly on a sheet pan and put it into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, stirring once during baking, I'm guessing about halfway through, and remove from the oven and cool completely. So yeah, that's why we're going to start with that because it wants you to cool up the nuts, cool off your nuts before you use them, which is probably a good idea.
Cool off your salty fire nuts.
Yeah, salty nuts. God, I went there for a second.
Of course, I knew it was going to happen. I mean, as soon as we write nuts anywhere, it's going to happen.
Nuts, yeah.
So the nuts will be in the oven while we get going on our hot fudge sauce then.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so
Correct.
What are we doing with all the hot fudge ingredients?
You're putting everything but the vanilla in a pot of decent size over medium-low heat. And this is because you need to melt that butter and make sure everything's combined, especially because you've got some chocolate pieces in there. Those will fall to the bottom and scorch. Got to make sure everything's melted first so that you're not raising your heat until everything's like gelling together. Once everything is homogenized, you're going to increase that heat to medium high and bring to a boil. As soon as it hits a boil, crank that puppy down to low and simmer for 7 minutes, stirring constantly. Once it's hit 7 minutes, so not sure what we're going to be looking for here. Gonna have to kind of feel it out on this recipe since I'm not familiar. After those 7 minutes, we'll remove it from the heat, add the vanilla. It says pour the mixture into a blender and blend for 2 whole minutes. We'll probably put this into a separate container and then immersion blend it because that's easier. And that's it. And that's sauce.
Kind of interesting to do that blending at the end.
I'm not really sure why, because unless it's just to make sure it's emulsified or to cool it slightly, maybe. Not sure. I didn't read the nonsense before the recipe on this one. We're not allowed of nonsense before the recipes or to people.
No. Jump to the recipe. That's what we do.
Please stop. Yeah. Should we get to it?
Let's do it. Let's make our celebration sundaes.
Celebration sundaes. I'm going to see if I can find some sprinkles.
Oh, that's a good idea. We are in the kitchen. We are ready to start melting our butter.
Yep. I've got one of my beautiful new pans that my dad bought me, and I am melting that minute amount of butter in here. I feel like buttered pecan should have more butter than 1.5 tablespoons.
I know, it does not feel like enough butter. Although, to be fair, we never think there's enough butter.
That's true. We are butter fiends.
Salted butter at that.
We've converted ourselves. I have melted. Off goes my heat. In go my nuts. Okay, I see why 1.5 tablespoons is probably enough. These nuts are buttery. Okay, apparently Oreos just makes me punchy as fuck. Here goes my salt. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Toss, toss, toss. My second toss went much better. I threw 2 nuts out of the pan on the first try. My nuts have been buttered, and they are on a sheet pan.
My nuts have been buttered and they're on a sheet pan too.
Woo!
Woohoo!
In they go.
10 to 12, but should we set like a 5-minute timer?
Let's set a 5-minute timer for stirring.
Okay.
In we go. 5 minutes on the clock.
So now we start melting our fudge ingredients.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, medium, low.
So since my dad bought me these nice new nonstick pans, I've invested in some silicone whisks, which I'm going to use for this purpose of combining these ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
that's probably a good call.
Very thick. Yeah. Well, I'm using my little Cuisinart cast iron pot thing, which now I'm realizing might have been a mistake because it is probably not deep enough to allow for the boiling action I want.
Uh-oh. Too late to move it?
No, not necessarily, but do I really want to?
Right.
Might get it melted first and move it over or something.
We're stirring our nuts at the 5-minute mark.
Stirring these hot, toasty nuts. Oh my God. Yes, babies, you are hot and toasty.
They're pretty.
Yeah, they smell good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nuts have been stirred. Yeah. And we're almost melted. So I'm transferring because I'm pretty well melted over here now. Starting to look pretty homogeneous.
I'm getting close.
Okay, so I forgot to set the timer.
Oops.
For an additional 5 minutes. So I've got it going now. Oops.
Okay. And I'm all melted. Are we working on a boil now?
Yeah, I'm going up a little bit on my heat, but I'm on a different burner now too, so I have to be careful. But as long as you're stirring it constantly, it should be okay. Yeah, I almost feel like the the proper method on the doing this sauce should be melt the butter and then sprinkle in the cocoa powder on the butter and mix that
Mm-hmm.
together and cook for a second. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think that helps activate the cocoa powder a little bit more.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then add like the evaporated milk. Or no, I guess you'd have to kind of add the chocolate chips next so that you could get those starting to melt with the butter. Then add the
Mm-hmm.
heavy, sorry, not heavy cream, evaporated milk.
Yeah, I was thinking too about adding the cocoa powder to the evaporated milk first, melting the butter, adding the chocolate chips, and then putting the milk cocoa combo in.
So I was thinking about that too, but I don't know
And
that they would mix as well as the like the butter and the cocoa powder would mix.
is it like melting into the butter?
Right.
Sure.
But yes, that is an alternate possibility of ingredient combination. Because right now, what I'm seeing that I'm not sure I like
Mm.
is like little flecks of what I'm assuming is cocoa powder that is
Oh, really?
not integrated. So I'm thinking I'm seeing the reason for the
The
blending
blending.
at the end.
Not quite as thick as I thought it would be. I guess the boiling has yet to come, but
Right. Yeah, I'm not boiling at all yet. I just turned up my heat slightly again. So
same.
it's like,
Me
come
too.
on.
No, I'm like, I don't want to go too much, but you have to boil. It's also hard to tell when it's boiling
When you're
when
constantly
stirring.
stirring, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of the answer is that you have to keep stirring until it boils, regardless of you stirring.
Till it's
Is that,
unmistakably boiling.
yeah.
And then quick, turn it down
And then yeah, quick like a bunny.
for 7 minutes. Very specific. Specific
Yes.
7.
Well, I think the because you're trying what I assume they're trying to hit here. What would make sense from my knowledge of candy making is you have to hit a certain temperature with the sugar.
Oh, uh-huh.
And it's a fairly low one because you want a sauce. So you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for a specific temperature more than anything else. But apparently she got there in 7 minutes, so she's going by a
Yeah.
timer versus
Trying to give you a temperature.
right.
I appreciate that.
I'm not sure if I do, but we'll see
Sure.
how the
Well,
result
you're a
is.
thermometer gal.
I am a thermometer gal. It's just much more reliable than
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like most of the time when we go on time frames versus a consistency or you're looking for this in particular, I think that makes it really hard because then you don't know what it is you're looking for. Like she didn't really give any detail as far as it should have this consistency or it should be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I want some visual cues.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna pull my hot buttered
I
knife.
just I just pulled mine while you were while we were chatting. Yes. Let's do
Okay.
that.
I feel like if I leave them in here any longer, they're gonna get too dark. There are some of them that are quite dark already. Oh, I've got boiling going on in my fudge sauce. It's all happening at the same time. And I'm turning my oven off. That's my only problem with giving a time frame. Like I feel like it shouldn't be the only instruction given. It should be this or this.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
should look like this by the time you've done this for 7 minutes. There's a little bit of ambiguity there that I'm not super comfortable with.
It's like helpful to simplify it that way, but also leaves room for error.
Right, exactly. Because what if somebody starts counting, when they just start to see bubbles around the edge, like I'm seeing now?
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily going to get you the result you want.
Right.
Yeah, you're leaving a little too much up to interpretation, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, full rolling boil achieved. I'm going to set a timer for 7 minutes because otherwise I will never be able to remember how long 7 minutes is. Start. Okay, stir, 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 stir.
It's a pretty sheen.
Yeah, it's got a pretty color, like a pretty appearance, and I definitely know that's a good sign. Because yeah, a good fudge should be kind of glossy.
Is yours thickening?
Well, it's hard to tell because it's boiling, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Hope so.
I mean, there's definitely evaporation happening, and the sugar should be transforming in some way. I've definitely got a challenge because I've altered the sugar to the granule, and we know that that's not always
what the recipe wants.
exactly. That's exactly right.
Or the dish, I guess.
Now I'm wondering if I turn it down too much. I feel like it should keep a decent boil going. Should at least know it's boiling. I guess this is probably okay.
I don't have any boil. I guess I'll turn it up a little more, but I'm just scared.
It's okay. I mean, just don't move.
Yeah, right. Just don't go anywhere.
I have 4 minutes left on my timer.
As usual, I am fairly behind.
Trying to figure out, is this because you're at a higher elevation? Is it the stove's fault? What's happening?
Yeah, did I not have it high enough? Okay, here we go. We're getting some boiling.
Yay.
Probably I didn't have it high enough.
Okay, this weed is just making me like, I'm swaying in like motion with how I'm stirring the pot.
You're in the groove.
I am in the groove. Thank you, weed and busy CBD.
Oreos. CBD.
Oreos.
Got a boil. Going back to low.
But not too low.
I have reached a boil, and I have turned my sauce down, and I am now on my 7-minute journey of stirring.
Okay. And I have 3 minutes left on my stirring journey before I will get to remove it and what's the word? Blend it.
Blend it.
And because I am using an enamel pot, I am going to put this into a Pyrex thing to blend it so that I don't scratch the finish on my pan. And I'm still swaying. This weed is making me sway. It's like I'm dancing. I'm dancing with the fudge. Oh man, I might need to go out and socialize more.
Well, mine lost its boil completely.
Oh no. See, this is what I mean. You can't go that low. Because I'm on like a medium low.
Mm-hmm. It's so saucy.
It is so saucy. I mean, it's thin too, and I'm trying to decide if I want to turn it up slightly and like give it a good boil for a minute just to get it to like
thicker,
or if I should not do that and just follow the instructions as written. 27, 26.
I just don't know why blending it, like I don't know that blending it's gonna like thicken it.
So here's part of my theory is that it'll whip the proteins
in the milk.
And so in the milk and then in the butter. I think there must be some purpose to it. Okay, I'm done with my 7-minute journey of boiling. I'm gonna go straight with the 7 minutes and not try and adjust and see where we end up here. I have reached the end of my 7 minutes. I am putting my sauce into a different container to blend it. Got about 3 cups of sauce here. Glad I didn't use the 4-cup measure and that my instinct to go large was a good one. Really annoying thing is I have to hold, it's a 2-handle pot and I have to hold one. And so like, I'm scraping the pan out and just scraping chocolate sauce over the second handle. So you can't hold the other handle again. Just gonna have to put it down. All right.
Chocolate corner.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna taste it.
Okay.
The result might be hard to argue with.
Is it thick enough?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really thick. It's sticking to the blender thing.
Cool.
Set that into a container and finish licking that later.
Okay, that was my timer for 7 minutes of stirring. So I'm about to head into a blender with my chocolate sauce, hot fudge.
Get something to assemble my sundae in here. And so for my ice cream, I am using Milk Bar's vanilla sugar cookie ice cream.
Did you put your vanilla in?
No, I did not put my vanilla in. So I just did. Now I'm going back to assembly.
Okay.
Milk Bar ice cream feels a little grainy. I think it got a little too defrosted in transport somewhere along the line. Now that I've put a reasonable amount of fudge sauce on here, I'm ready to eat it. Oh, God. This is making my mouth so happy right now.
I've just assembled. I'm about to take my first bite here. Absolutely perfect. This is so delicious. The hot fudge did thicken up, like you said, and like we hoped. It's kind of a perfect consistency now. The nuts add just enough saltiness. It's perfect.
For the sugar cookie ice cream, I think they like coated or like somehow managed to get like a sugar swirl to go in with like the cookie dough swirl. And so there's like this grainy, which is not pleasant necessarily, but not unpleasant. It's kind of like, not sure how I feel about this as part of the sundae, but the flavors altogether are so good.
Yum. I just did vanilla. Nope, nothing to compete there.
Yeah, that was probably smart, but my eyes were larger than my head today. Or whatever.
Well,
yeah. No, my eyes are larger than my stomach. That's like, isn't that the way?
Eyes larger than head too, though. That works, I think. But I'm glad we stuck to the recipe. I think it did seem kind of weird to blend it at the end, but it made it perfect. I also think it helped cool it down so that it was ready to go like right on the ice cream.
Oh, 100%. I know that that's at least part of it. That'll release a ton of heat quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a good idea.
Mm-hmm. So I'd say we would do it again. This is, I don't know if we said world level, but probably 1, maybe 2, because of the burning potential on the stuff.
Yeah.
The sauce.
As long as you're attentive, it's not super hard. The results are good, and delicious and perfect.
Mm-hmm. Good and delicious and perfect. I think that kind of covers our last 100 episodes.
Oh, absolutely. For sure. Covers us 100%.
100 episodes, 100%. Good, delicious, perfect.
All right.
Well, Gretchen, I'm proud of us. We've made it to 100. Let's go 200.
It'll happen before we know it.
We'll be doing this all over again.
Well,
I
not
hope.
this. Exactly. But
The reminiscing.
yes, the reminiscing will happen for sure.
Well, thanks for joining us on our 100 episode journey so far, Gluttoneers. Keep listening, keep subscribing, tell everybody you know relentlessly. Off we go.
Off we go. And the coconuts are back.
But the coconuts are still here. Yay!
Okay. Anyway.
Full coconut circle.
Full coconut circle. Hold on. Hang on. We got to do the full coconut circle starting at 6. All right. Okay, that's it. I actually went a little over the circle, but yes.
Whoa. Over circled. Okay.
Over circled.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Gotta get out of here. Oh my gosh.